So we thought we'd come back here. We've got the luxury of having the team huddle right in front of us, so we might try and see if we can capture some of what Coach Steve Reeves is saying to the boys here. So just try to listen in. We'll be quiet for a second.
Classic jumper.
We hear that again, that Tussock jumper.
It's been a buzzword in the last couple of days.
It has. I'd love to know the backstory to Tussock jumper, but it seems to be working for Reeves and the Kangaroos. Obviously got the win yesterday, and looks like they're going to stick with the same game plan. What would you like to see in this quarter, Scott?
I think more of the same from that quarter. I think yesterday the highlights for me was the push and the run off half back, and already today we've seen a little bit of the same. We've mentioned Byron Mayo already, and he's been pushing and running from the half back line and pumping the ball inside forward 50. But I think there's a few other players that I'd love to see in the game, and that forward pressure. It's probably something we didn't see a lot of yesterday, and I think the longer the ball stay in the forward line at either end, the more chance we'll get to see some goals go through the big sticks. So a little bit more forward pressure from me, lock it in there. We likened this to an NBA All-Star game the other day, and we want to see a lot of scoring, not much defence, but it'd be great to see a little bit more forward pressure from the boys to lock it in there and create some more scoring opportunities.
That's right, and back themselves in and have a crack at the big sticks and see if they can get them through. We don't mind a little bit of head wobble here at the All-Australian camp, because that's what they're here for. They're the best players, so let's see what they can bring in the second quarter.
And both coaches have made a real focus on that over the last couple of days, and as they've done their training sessions and some of their team meetings, they really wanted to approach this as one inclusion All-Australian squad, and the fact that we're splitting into two teams to play some exhibition matches is fantastic, but at the end of the day, this is about showcasing the best talent, and these 26 players on show here today are the best in the country. So,
and the ball goes up and we start the second quarter. Nice tap by Shubalate. And Puachimi picks up where he last left off in the first quarter, streaming down the far wing and pumps it into the forward 50.
Can Baxter read the ball, and he reels it in for a nice juggling mark there.
Nice little juggle mark there. He's got options in the middle if he wants to square up. I think the distance might be a bit of an issue for him here.
He's played on, he goes long and left,
and he just
for one behind.
Pulls it a bit there, searching for that extra distance. But we have scores level again.
But we like that. We like to see the players play on. We like to see the players take on the game. We didn't get a barrel yesterday, but we want to see some torps, some hangers, the players doing what they do best. As Cook collects, he gets a little handball off to Schnitzel. A short kick to Baxter, who snaps around the corner. Could it bounce over? Alford collects. Over his left shoulder. Goal to the Kangaroos.
Lovely composure there by Big Davey Alford. Had two emus around him, and the Kangaroo just snapped it through.
As we see our support staff go onto the field now, we've been really lucky to have some fantastic help throughout the week here, Tim, and we've had representation from all the states and territories with players, but it's great to see some of our support staff from around the country assisting here this week as well.
Yeah, and it's a reward for all the support staff here. They put in a real big effort over the course of the 12 months, and to come here and enjoy and be part of the whole All-Australian experience. It's great to have them here, and we can't thank them enough for what they do back in state and territory land.
But it hasn't been all fun and games. We spent some time over the last couple of days with some of those support staff you mentioned, talking about ways that the AFL can continue to provide more opportunities for these players and other footballers around the country in our disability programs. And I think there's a nice tackle there from Brad Lawrence. I think there's some really great programs already happening in each state and territory, but the AFL is doing a fantastic job of making the sport as accessible as possible for everyone in the community.
We really are at the starting part of our journey within disability football within the AFL.
Oh, times it perfectly off the bench, but couldn't quite reel it in.
Here comes Lawrence. He plays he's a man possessed. Flings himself through that contest. He took anyone there.
I don't think Dole was too happy with that one, but you see how much this means to the boys. They only know one way, and that's to go in hard, and a great smother there from Clark, just backing that up.
Oh, Pace is out here.
Let's see if he lives up to his name. He takes off now.
Bit of a sausage roll in there, and well read. Who we've got back? Who's that back there, Scotty?
That's Aaron Knight-Nielsen,
Aaron Knight.
the Northern Territory defender. And Dole reels it in and takes off. He's got his little yellow legs pumping with the nice canary yellow socks. Harry Hunter measures the kick, puts it out in front of Dave Alford, who wheels around.
There is men everywhere in the forward 50.
Where are the
Here we go,
emus?
the human snitch, get around here!
Yeah!
Those extra snissels.
And he's giving a little
That's what I
salute
got.
as well.
That's what we called for. We like a little bit of head wobble, and the big snitch goes bang.
And Snit is the youngest of all our players here, still at school, a 17-year-old, I believe. And, you know, there is some great talent, and states like Tasmania, where Craig's from, are doing a fantastic job of creating pathways for players through school programs to make their way off to the National Inclusion Carnival.
And I believe, I think Barry Gaby down in Tassie was telling me he was part of the Tassie State under-16s program down there. So he's definitely got some class under his belt. So we're very lucky to have him here as part of the All-Australian squad. As we go up for a ball up, and Hallows wins this one, taps it down to who we've got down there, Baxter. He arches the back.
Oh, a great tackle. I
Well
probably would have
done.
paid that one. It was a great effort from
On the
Worthington.
left peg, and Gudgeon fills the hole.
And he goes out wide with a nice long kick to Dylan Pace, who reels it in.
Starting to come in the game a bit pace. I think this is his third disposal in this quarter. And a
Finds
lovely
Schuberlat
square
in the
up.
centre, who just casually strolls off.
Oh, takes on Dole. Oh, lovely fist. Mayo, my boy.
Ooh. Timmy
that-
Watson leaping over the pack
Was it?
there almost, but
Oh, that's a bit of a stiff call in my opinion.
the
there, Scott.
umpire,
I
the
think-
umpire has gone bang and paid a free
Yeah,
there.
is that Cookie? Unfortunately, I think he was a bit stiff there.
As Mayo goes along to Damo Clark in a little bit of space, but he's spilt the mark, but he recovers well, gives the handball off. A couple of Kangaroos players crashing into each other.
Reaver, here he goes. Lines it up. Open goal. Woo! That's in. Here we go.
Jackson Reeve puts one through, and we get a trademark Timmy Neild woo, as well as the Emus now. They get one back. The
They're making a
Kangaroos
charge.
leading the way. 3 goals, 3-21 to the Emus on the back of that Jacko Reeves goal. 2 goals, 3-15.
Look, they were a bit stiff there with getting a free kick there against Kangaroos, but look, they were opportunistic and they took it all the way, and the Kangaroos let their men go free there. And Jackson Reeves gets on the scoreboard, and there's a goal in it.
And that's a good example of the free-flowing footy we've seen. It can go end to end very quickly here, and if the defenders aren't ready, the forwards will pounce and capitalise. As it goes forward, out wide to the half-forward line, it's Mayo and Cook going at it.
And a lovely little tap to the quarterback there, Lawrence.
So Hayden Cannon coming across to help out there.
And Mayo, dominant down half back there, had a real great game. Unfortunately, not a great kick there. Harry Hunter, they reloads. And Davey Alford all by himself.
Perfectly weighted kick, but Alford couldn't quite hold on to it. A nice clearing left-hand handball to Baxter, who puts it through. So Baxter again. The Kangaroos answer really quickly. So 4 goals, 3 now, 27. Opening up a 12-point lead over the Emus. And
He's having a great game, Scotty. Like that's probably his 4th shot on goal. I think he's probably kicked that was his 2nd goal, I think, and he's probably shanked a couple too. So he's been probably the most dominant player out on the field there for the Kangaroos. And they edged back out to that 2-goal buffer that they've sort of carried over the course of this game.
so what does Supercoach Nick Eads have here? His side now down by 12 points as we approach half-time. We said the banter stopped pretty quickly yesterday as we got into the match.
He wouldn't want to go home with a bagel, Scotty. I think, as the winning coach of the National Inclusion Carnival, I think there might be some questions asked if he went home with a bagel. But We're all about fun here.
I think Reeves at half forward is lifted for the Emus as he goes inside, and he's got 3 Emus there to 1 Kangaroo player, but Knight Nielsen doing a good job as Pace snaps on his left foot and it goes through for a goal.
Yes.
Dylan Pace.
We called for a little bit of head wobble and some skills on show, and they've bought it this quarter.
And we saw a great snap from Travis Baxter in that pocket yesterday, and I think that one's on par from Dylan Pace. Left foot running towards the boundary. That's what we like to see, Tim.
The Baxter pocket. Is that what we're going with?
Well,
Or Pace might have something to...
The Pace pocket has a nice ring to it as well, so... All of a sudden, the voice from the runners.
There we go.
And we might just mention Hayden Marchetto is a runner here, but there's not a lot of running happening. It's more so yelling and pointing from the boundary. So, I mean, the players are putting on a show, but I think our support staff might need to lift a little bit here as well.
And you might hear the squeals from the crowd. We've got a few in today, which is great. And his pace again. He's had a dominant second quarter. Appeal at Timmy, puts it out in front of him, backs his pace.
Oh, beautiful sidestep
silky.
there. And here comes Stephen Hall over the back. Byron Mayo keeps it in. Cam Gudgeon does a little toe poke, but the ball just trickles out of bounds.
Set up, midfield. Tilt the front, tilt the back.
You might have heard that through the audio. Nick Eads barking out instructions from the sidelines. He needs something. They can jag a goal. We'll square it up going into half time. Let's see what the Emus can bring as we go into a ball up here. Yass has got his hand up. He's going to take this one.
So the ball bouncing around, and Tyson Worthington just puts the head down and runs away from the congestion. Clearing, Damo Clark, he's a big boy. He's big and strong, but he's got a pretty good tank on him as well. But Dole
Goes back
smart
into
as
danger
ever in
here. And
defence.
Reeves, he's had a great second quarter as well.
Causing some real problems for the Kangaroos at half forward. As Brad Lawrence, some great run from behind the play. The umpire's called too far.
Bit stiff. They're a bit hot on. The calls today, Scotty. But look, that's the quality that we've got here today.
So Alan Meeklem here at half back. He looks wide and he's got Graydon Poulsen on. A nice sharp kick for the Victorian Meeklem.
10 seconds left. Appeal Timmy. Can he wheel and go? He puts his hands up.
He might
He's
have
looking
to go
slow it
quickly.
down. Here's the link-up play that we saw yesterday. He slides off the side of the boot, though.
And I think the Kangaroos might just run out of time there as Hayden Cannon does a big clearing kick. Cam Gudgeon keeps it in front. The boundary line is a backman's best friend and might have just got a free kick in the back there, but Mayo plays on. And that's half-time here at the INS Global Games AFL exhibition. It's the Kangaroos. They got the win yesterday in our first match. 4 goals, 3, 27, but some strong play from the Emus there. 3 goals, 3, 21 on the back of some great work from Jacko Reeves at half forward and some strong play by Dylan Pace on the other side of the ground.
I think Reeves and Pace really stood up there for the Emus, and Baxter up forward for the Kangaroos really sort of slotted a few of those goals. I think Alford started working into the game too. We saw a lot more of him, started presenting a lot more. So it's what we want to see. I'm sure what the viewers back home want to see, another even, tight contest. So we'll take a break and we'll come back for the third quarter.